So I'd like you to start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and your loved one with aphasia. For example, how old is Sarah?
Sarah's 24 now. She was 18 when she had a stroke at school and just about to go to university, so it was really a life-changing event that came completely out of the blue.
And it put Sarah's life on hold. She had a place at university. We held that back for a while, but that's still some way off now, isn't it? And I guess Sarah's speech initially was very limited. We worked on that with speech therapists in the UK, which gradually brought that on to the level it is now. But her reading and writing has suffered, and prior to this intensive program, it was very, very limited.
Well, she couldn't swallow, she was paralysed, couldn't walk, couldn't speak at all, she had no speech, and then gradually yes and no and naming things, that kind of came back, and she got her walking back and her swallowing, so she looked normal, and the thing that she had that remained was aphasia, which was actually very disabling. I don't think people sort of realise how difficult aphasia is. And it's made her life very difficult, particularly not being able to work with numbers, going back to work, and that kind of thing is really, really hard without being able to understand numbers.
Sarah found it very difficult to see that she was improving, and I think even as parents, when you're with Sarah every day, sometimes it's hard to see the changes day to day. But what we could see is some of our family and friends who didn't see Sarah as frequently, they could see the step improvements. And I think the videos were one way of actually showing Sarah and demonstrating to her that she is making more progress than perhaps sometimes she could see herself. And I think that was the initial motivation to do this.
What advice would you have for other caregivers or families with aphasia?
The first thing we'd say is some of the messages you can get from the healthcare professionals like initially for Sarah, they told us that Sarah would plateau in her recovery after 6 months. And I think if anyone's seen Sarah's videos, they'll see that's absolute rubbish. And we know almost everybody that we come across who's had aphasia, they all continue improving. So if anyone tells you that your improvement will plateau, please ignore it, because that's not true. And I think people, no matter what their age, they will continue improving if they keep working at it. So I mean that's one of the most important things for people, to feel that there's hope and it's worthwhile keep working at your speech or your language, because it will continue improving if you work at it.
I think I'd also say for a young person with aphasia, I think it's very difficult socially, because they can lose a lot of friendships, or dynamics within the family can change. So it's not just the loss of speech or the aphasia, but I think it's lots of other things sort of surrounding that. So try and give your loved one lots of support, try and structure each day so that you've got things to do and you're not just watching TV, and just try and really be patient and give them lots of space. Don't try and finish their sentences. I can say that because I did that myself, I'm sure we both did, but try not to do that because it doesn't help, and try and give them time to process their thoughts and express themselves, because it's really important. They're still a person with their own beliefs and opinions, so don't lose sight of that. They're still the same person inside, so don't let the aphasia sort of dominate the whole sort of family life and relationships.
I would say as well, don't wrap them up in cotton wool, because it's very easy, particularly as a parent, to want to protect Sarah or your own child and not to expose them to that big bad world outside. But they have to push the boundaries in order to progress. So there's been times when we haven't wanted Sarah to go on a train on her own because we were worried if something happened, if the train got cancelled or whatever. But now we've gradually becoming more and more confident of letting Sara do new things. I think it's important to give them the space and the opportunity to push the boundaries and to stretch themselves. They may have the odd little accident on the way, but I think it's a price worth paying to get them to the point where they can take on new challenges and move forward.